Okay, so let's talk about Greenland. For most of history, it's just been this massive frozen island at the top of the world, kind of out of sight, out of mind. But that has all changed. Suddenly, this remote expanse of ice has become ground zero for a new kind of global power struggle.
And that brings up a really good question, right? I mean, why? Why are the world's biggest powers, we're talking America, Russia, and China, all suddenly laser focused on this giant block of ice? The answer is pretty incredible, and it really breaks down into three key parts. It's this mix of geography, what's buried underneath, and what's happening to the future of our planet.
So, to really get what's going on, you first have to understand what I like to call the Greenland paradox. It's this idea that this place, which looks completely barren and hostile on the surface, is secretly holding the keys to, well, pretty much our entire technological future.
And the scale of this paradox is just mind-boggling. I mean, think about it. This is the world's largest island, but a staggering 80% of it is buried under a colossal sheet of ice. We're talking miles thick in some places. And the population? Just 57,000 people. You could fit the entire country into one large sports stadium. And they're living in a place where the average temperature is a bone-chilling minus 30 degrees Celsius. So again, what in the world is going on here? Why all the attention?
Okay, so reason number one is all about military strategy. You have to stop thinking of Greenland as just an island. Military planners have a name for a place like this. They call it an unsinkable aircraft carrier. It's basically a permanent, immovable fortress parked in one of the most important locations on the planet.
And this gets to a core idea called geostrategy. It's super simple, really. Sometimes your location on a map is more powerful than any army or any weapon you could possibly have. And when you look at the map, Greenland's location is, well, it's absolutely unmatched in the entire Northern Hemisphere.
Here's a perfect example of what I mean. If you wanted to fire a missile from Russia to, say, the United States, what's the shortest path? It's not east or west, it's straight over the top, over the North Pole. And what's sitting right there, smack in the middle of that path? Greenland. That makes it the ultimate front line. It's the tripwire. If you control Greenland, you basically control the airspace for any attack on North America.
And trust me, the US knows this. They've had a massive presence there for decades. You've got Pacific Space Base. You might know it by its old name, Thule Air Base. It's got this incredibly advanced radar system that's constantly scanning the horizon. And at any given time, there can be up to 10,000 US personnel there. That tells you everything you need to know about how vital Washington thinks this spot is.
And get this isn't some new thing. The US has been trying to get its hands on Greenland for over a century. They made a move for it way back in 1867, right after they bought Alaska. Then, in 1946, President Truman came in with an offer of $100 million in solid gold. And you probably remember when President Trump floated the idea again in 2019. It wasn't just some random thought. It was the latest chapter in a very, very long story of American strategic ambition.
But okay, that's just the military side of things. The second big reason is what's under the ice. We're not just talking about strategy anymore. We're talking about a literal buried treasure chest filled with the exact resources that will power the entire 21st century.
I love this quote, the oxygen of future technology. That's how some people describe these things called rare earth elements, or REEs. And it's so true. These aren't just some boring minerals. They are the essential, non-negotiable ingredients for basically everything we rely on today, from your smartphone to fighter jets to green energy.
And guess what? Greenland is sitting on a massive stash of them. We're talking neodymium, the stuff you need for the super powerful magnets in electric cars and wind turbines. We're talking gallium, which is critical for AI chips and radar. Oh, and also uranium for nuclear power. And as if that's not enough, there's also an estimated 31 billion barrels of oil waiting just offshore. So you see, this is way bigger than just digging up some rocks. This is about who gets to control the entire supply chain for the world's future economy.
And this is where the plot really thickens. Because right now, who controls these vital minerals? One country, China. They have a stranglehold on the market, producing something like 90% of the world's supply. That gives Beijing an incredible amount of power over every other major economy. So for the US and Europe, getting to Greenland's resources isn't just a business plan. It's a matter of national security. It's about breaking free from that dependency.
Okay, so we have military position, and we have buried treasure. But the third piece of this puzzle, this one might just be the biggest game changer of all. Because as the climate warms and the Arctic ice melts away, it's not just uncovering minerals, it's literally opening up a brand new highway for global trade.
For hundreds of years, explorers dreamed of finding a shortcut between the Atlantic and the Pacific, the legendary Northwest Passage. But it was always blocked by impenetrable ice. Well, now, that ice is disappearing, and that legendary shortcut is becoming a reality. We're talking about a new sea lane that could completely rewrite the rules of global shipping.
Just look at the numbers, they're insane. If a cargo ship wants to go from China to London today and has to go all the way through the Suez Canal, that's a journey of about 20,000 kilometers. But with this new Arctic route, it's almost half that, only 11,000 kilometers. You're saving thousands of miles, tons of fuel, and potentially weeks of travel time. That's a revolution in logistics.
And here's the kicker. Where is Greenland located? Right at the gateway to this new ocean superhighway. So whoever controls Greenland is essentially controlling the on-ramp. It's like owning the land on both sides of the Suez Canal. You effectively get to be the toll booth operator for one of the most important new trade routes in the world. The leverage that gives you is almost unimaginable.
So when you put it all together, what are we really looking at here? It's basically a 21st century version of the old great game that empires played for control of Central Asia. Only this time, the playing field is ice, and the stakes, well, they might be even higher.
Because the consequences of getting this wrong are huge. Think about it. Greenland is technically part of Denmark, a US ally in NATO, so any aggressive move could literally split the alliance. The potential for ecological disaster from massive mining operations is off the charts. And what about the people who actually live there? For those 57,000 Greenlanders, this isn't some abstract geopolitical game. This is about their homes, their culture, their entire future.
In the end, it all comes back to a very old, very simple truth. Geography is power. And in the Arctic, as the world changes and the ice recedes, Greenland's geography is becoming one of the most powerful forces on the planet. The real question is, who's going to control it? And what happens to the rest of the world when they do?